This podcast recording is brought to you from the staff and friends of IBSLife.net. Each broadcast contains discussion about matters of health and well-being related to IBS that can affect anyone with the condition. All views expressed within these podcasts are personal opinions only and must not be construed as medical advice.
Hello guys, and welcome to the first podcast this year from the IBSLife.com team. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Rick.
And I'm Sian.
And we're happy to be together again once again to come on and chat to you guys. Now, what we're going to be talking about today, Rick, we're going to give an idea, an update, or some of the things we're going to be doing on the website, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an update and sort of let people know what's going on with the site. We've got lots of decent plans for the site this year. It's going to be quite interesting and exciting.
So let's tell about some of the things that will be happening over the next couple of months. We're going to be rolling out some ideas of, pimping up, making some of our existing pages a bit more informative, aren't we? We're going to try something, don't know if it's going to be working or not. It's with regards to videos, and this is where we'll move over to you, Sian. How are we going to do this?
Well, I was considering making a video every so often and covering perhaps one treatment of IBS that I've tried, or if people are asking questions on the site, to perhaps deal with that.
So we're looking at like supplementary videos of some of the articles, aren't we,
yes.
as well? So
I have done quite a few articles on various products that I've tried, anything from over-the-counter medicine to meditation, and I'm hoping in the videos to cover them in more depth to let people know what they're like, how they've affected me, if they've worked, if they haven't worked, and also if people have specific questions, such as I get quite a lot of emails from people who have to attend weddings, either as a guest or getting married.
Or so any kind of, it's not just weddings, is it?
No, but it can apply to any social situation where you are afraid of having to run out, which in a wedding, yes, would be of primary importance, especially if you're the one getting married.
And so that will move over to Rick.
Yeah, been there, done that.
So actually, how did you cope with it, Richard?
What happened? What was the story? You went to, was it your cousin's?
It was my niece's wedding, and the wedding reception room. It was a little room, and the in and out door was right next to the stage where the couple was going to get married, and the nightmare scenario of being in the middle of a wedding, as they're exchanging their vows, having to leave the room. If the door had been at the back, it would have been fine. I could have snuck out quietly, but the door was right in front of everybody, so it would have been the most disrespectful thing you could possibly do in a wedding. So
just 1 second. You weren't best man, were you?
No. I was just a guest.
Thank God for that.
There's another nightmare scenario. Best man.
The thing is, some people really have this concern because it's not just weddings, but perhaps an interview or a long journey, or something where you can't or you don't want to because you're embarrassed to get out of it.
I suppose all the stresses, they just pile up on top of it. Especially if you're doing like an important best man or whatever, they're building up, you've got all this pressure and you've got to perform a certain thing, and you've got this problem with IBS, and oh dear, I can't do this.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. It can do.
Yeah, and the more you're going to worry about it, the worse you shot yourself in the foot even before you go.
Yeah.
I can imagine me no, I'm calling the wedding off because I know that I will get IBS in the middle of it.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
That was the dog.
The big sigh on the floor.
If you can hear any puffing and panting, that's Billy the Labrador.
He's actually quite relaxed now, isn't he?
He's asleep
now, if we could relax like that dog, we wouldn't get IBS.
That's true.
Well, actually, I think this dog's got IBS.
Well,
He's definitely got panic
dogs
attacks.
can get IBS,
Can they?
a form of it, according to the vet.
Yeah, we're talking about you, but where are you going?
Actually, just kind of going off at a tangent here slightly. Billy gets a bit upset when on firework night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Bach's flower remedies? Little herbal remedy things,
yes.
Like tinctures and things.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, no, it wasn't a friend, it was my niece's friend. her dog had exactly the same problem. She tried some of this Bach's flower remedy on the dog, and it settled him down absolutely no problem.
The actual Bach rescue remedy? The one
I think so. Yeah, that's the one.
The one that's got a few different ingredients.
I'm not.
In it.
To be honest, I'm not sure, but I think it was. I think it was the rescue.
I think that
remedy
actually works. I used to try it years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth trying.
Because it's not at all harmful, is it? And
no, it's all purely natural.
Although you might get arrested soon in this country for
having
anything like that.
Good grief, yes.
We've got a balmy new law coming in on the EU. I think it's US as well.
Well, it's actually been in place for the last decade, but it actually sort of comes to a head in April this year.
That's right.
And slowly, what they've been doing is preparing to basically ban all or most high-strength vitamins.
It's all going through licensing, isn't it? Where you have to, if you were going to sell some form of vitamin tablet, or you were going to be some kind of therapist, you have to get a license. Which we're not going to really go into this too much in this one, because it's it's quite topical.
It's kind of quite controversial.
Big pharmaceutical companies getting involved. Not going to go there.
And we all know what I think of the pharmaceutical companies.
We'll save that for another podcast, I think.
Sure.
But if this comes up and people are taking certain things that they can no longer easily get hold of, I think we could maybe address that in another podcast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I certainly take a lot of supplements and minerals, but I hope slippery elm food won't be part.
That's just silly society laws coming, isn't it?
It's nonsense really.
But so basically this podcast then we went off a major tangent.
We do.
Well, the main thing we were going to talk about was the updates to the website. So as we're moving into the new year, one thing we're very happy with the way that it's been developing and that people are interacting with each other on the website.
There's a real sense of community starting to form.
It's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, the Have Your Say feature is used regularly. We're getting people, and it is nice to see people putting comments on there, letting people know how they're doing. Doing diary vloggy type things, and then other people leaving their comments and interacting with each other. And we hope to see that sort of continue over the next couple of months. I think you're going to be putting some stuff up yourself, aren't you?
Yes, I will. I mean, apart from the videos, I could also do some articles if there's anything specific, because there are a lot of articles actually already on the website. But if they need updating, or if anyone wants anything specific covered.
That's actually a good point. There is an awful lot of stuff that's on the website. It's all buried. The website is massive now.
Yeah,
make use of the search feature.
Yeah.
We've got a search option on there.
Well, we've got a new third column, right hand side column now, and at the very top on just about every page there's a search feature. So if there's anything you're specifically looking for, just type in a keyword, hit search, and any articles containing that keyword within the site will come back at you.
If you don't find it, let us know. And
something you would like us to talk about or find out about.
Because I have, like they said, there are a lot of articles on there, but I also read some blogs and comments where people are asking things which are on the website. What could they take? What could they try? And yes, they are on there. So I would like to, people to not just read the front page, to be able to search, but then I'll write anything that people are interested in. If you let me know, I'll go and search it. Or if it's something, that I haven't personally tried, I will do some research.
Which brings us neatly to the other thing that we're hoping to bring in over the course of this year, which is a questions and answers podcast session on a regular basis.
Yeah, we're thinking of developing. One thing that, as you can probably imagine, as our site is getting bigger, we are getting a lot of emails, we're getting a lot of contacts, people asking questions, variety of questions, often very similar questions, and for time purposes it actually makes more sense to take up the bulk of these stuff and converse with people in a podcast. Now, one thing we were going to say about that, because we want to keep it as personal as we possibly can, if you send an email to us and you're happy for us to use your email, like your question, please let us know, isn't it? Well, I think what we're going to do is
what I'm actually going to do this afternoon, I'm going to be putting up a new page on the website which will be specifically for podcast questions and answers. And it'll be a simple contact form. And if you have a specific question that you want to fire at us, then fill in the form, and hopefully we can address it in a future podcast. And I think we're looking at sort of getting together on a much more regular basis now to address, certain questions. Obviously, we're not going to be able to guarantee we're going to be able to get through every single one, but we may also.
We certainly find a theme, don't we?
Well, exactly,
So,
yes. But also, if you do send in a question and we don't address it on the podcast, there's a high chance we may actually address it on in an article.
An article, yeah. I can try to do that anyway.
And that's pretty much all we've got to talk about today, isn't it? It's
that's just a
just
sort
wrap
of
it up.
summary of what's happening this year.
It's all on the go.
So we're going to wind this podcast up now. Don't forget to send in your questions, and what we'll do is I'll put a link to the podcast questions page on the front. So I think what I'll do is I'll redesign our podcast logo. It'll say something like "click here to send your question" or something. I'll figure it out this afternoon.
Talk about updating yourself. We're going to have to get a new photograph on the front page, aren't we?
Oh yeah,
Really,
good grief. Yeah, we all look quite different now, don't we?
We'll have to get a new photograph or something on there, tidy up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Anyway, nice speaking to you all again, guys. We look forward to getting together again and talking to you on our next podcast, which I expect will be a lot sooner this time, won't it? Because
absolutely.
With the question and answers, it gives us something to talk about.
Exactly.
And take care of yourselves, and do remember that we are here. We do have IBS, and you aren't alone.
You are not alone.
No.
Absolutely.
So thanks once again for taking the time out to listen to us today on our podcast, the first podcast of this year. Hopefully the first podcast of many more to come. I'm going to say my goodbyes now, so take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
IBSLife.net. Created for people with IBS by people with IBS.